Now, what about the financial advisor levies? I said they've gone up from about $1,000 per head to almost $3,000 per head. What are your views on that? What do you think about that?
I'll ask colleagues from Financial System Division to take that question.
Yeah, so I guess I'm wondering whether you think that's a sustainable approach for the financial advisor community. Because it's a 200% tax increase, effectively.
Yes. Hi, Carter Wang, Assistant Secretary of the Regulators and Capital Markets Branch. So in regards to your question of the ASIC industry levy...
Yeah, is it sustainable?
So, as you're very well aware, Treasury released the ASIC Industry Funding Model Review in June last year. The recommendation in that review affirmed the principle of the industry funding model, which is the regulated entities who cause the need for ASIC...
Yeah, I understand all that. I know the context, yeah. What's the answer?
Efforts are the ones that, should be charged for the costs.
Okay, so you think that the financial advisors should be able to wear that additional increase?
So the relief that was provided during the pandemic was always intended to be temporary. And during the period of the levy relief, which was over the financial year of 2021 and 21-22, there was a major shortfall in funding due to the temporary release that was applied. The shortfall was estimated to be about 46 million, and therefore, the levy just reflects the costs required or collected to then, enforce and regulate that sector.
So the government's position is that basically the financial advisors should suck up the 150% increase in their taxes.
Well, Senator, it's not a tax, but further,
it's a levy.
It is, and as Ms. Tom has mentioned,
a levy is a tax.
It hadn't been this levy hadn't been increased in a number of years. It was paused during the COVID period, and this was a period of, and this was a catch up in line with the funding review that was conducted through ASIC.
Well, levies are taxes, just so you know. So that's disappointing. Okay, I just have one last question, which is just related to my last one, which is, so if the government's happy to see a 150% increase in the levies that are paid by financial planners, how does that line up with the government's stated policy to cut the cost of financial advice?
So I think they're two different things. One of them is self-funded industry levy, because ASIC has a cost recovery mechanism, which it's had for some time. The other is about the quality of it goes to the quality of advice review and the fees that are charged for that advice to consumers, and a mechanism which enables those fees to be lessened to increase the access to quality advice for as many consumers as possible.
But isn't that an input cost for those businesses that are providing financial advice? Like, isn't the government levy an input cost?
Look, it will be an input cost, yes.
Okay, so you would accept that a higher levy, one that's 150% higher than the previous one, would be an increase in the input cost and therefore could make it harder to provide cheaper advice?
So I think there are a couple of things. I'll ask Mr. Moore, Dr. Moore, to assist me with this one. There are a couple of things going on here. One is the fee or the levy to operate within the industry, which is an annual fee that's charged on the financial advisor. The other is the fee that advisor is charging on the customer, which, by recollection, was upwards of $5,000 per advice. And of course, each advisor might have multiple customers that they deal with over the course of the year. So, yes, that increase in the levy will have an effect on price, but it'll also be smeared across a number of customers. And it comes down to the type of advice that they're giving, which is exactly what the Quality of Advice Review was looking to change.
Yeah, so it is going to make it harder. Thank you very much.
No, that's not.
Well, it is an increase. It's an increase in cost.
Well, it was set up to be self-funding. It is not unusual for occupational regulatory arrangements to be self-funding, and sustainable, because there's benefits to those who are paying those fees and registration to be regulated in a way that assures quality of advice. Well, you look in the health sector. That's how it works.
How many other schemes are increasing by 150%?
Well, I think we've gone through why it's unusual because of the fact that it hadn't been increased and had been paused.
I think it's pretty callous.
But the reality is...
It's very callous.
Well, the reality is...
These are small businesses.
So you disagree that it should be self-funding. You think it should be budget funded, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Okay, so then we budget fund the national registration for other professionals as well?
I think if you have a look at ASIC's...
We'll add that to the list of things the coalition's going to do.
You find they're not doing a very good job.
Well, we'll add that to the list.
It could be fixed.
Thank you, Minister.
We'll add that to the list of things you're going to fund.
This appears to have become a debate, which is entertaining
We're not
at
going to
this
agree
point,
on
but
that.
probably not assisting us with
Thank
time.
you.
So thank you very
We
much.
look forward to your election policy that outlines how you'll fund that.
Thank you,
I'll send it to you
Minister.
first.
Thank
I'll
you,
send it to you.
Deputy
Good, thank you.
Chair.